Knowledge Bandara, an animated video presenting the world's best-selling books. Hello friends, welcome back to Knowledge Bandara. This week I am unfolding Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. The title of the book refers to a quote by Mark Twain entitled, "Eat a live frog first thing in the morning and nothing worse will happen to you rest of the day." It means do your most important tasks first so you will work more efficiently and this will lead to a more fulfilling day. Tracy's book is divided into 21 chapters, each focusing on specific principles and strategy to improve productivity and time management. But he typically recommends a single approach to each principle. Of course, productivity is highly personal. What works for one person may not work for another. So in addition to Tracy's principle and strategy, I have included few resources that include additional information and alternate strategies. By this, you will get to know the science behind each principle and easily you can find out alternate approaches that feels right for you. So let's get into the summary of each chapter. Chapter 1. Set the table. Tracy says lack of clarity is one of the biggest causes of waste and procrastination. If you don't know exactly what your goals are, what you are striving to achieve, it's unlikely that you will be able to identify and prioritize the specific task you need to work on to achieve those goals. Therefore, you should write down your goals so that you can refer back to them frequently. A goal or objective that is not in writing is merely a wish or fantasy. Tracy says unwritten goals lead to confusion, vagueness, misdirection, and numerous mistakes. Once you have documented your goals, set a deadline for when you want to achieve them. Break them down into every task that needs to be done to achieve those goals and resolve to work on one goal or task every day. Chapter 2. Plan every day in advance. Tracy recommends taking a few minutes at the end of each day to plan the next day's tasks, like a monthly list of tasks you want to complete that month, or a weekly list of tasks you want to complete that week, or a daily list of tasks you want to complete that day. By planning your task for the next day at the end of previous work day, you will know exactly what your frog is when you arrive at work in the morning and can get started on it immediately. There are a lot of to-do apps. It gives you a lot of reminders for pending activities. Go and install it right now. Chapter 3. Apply the 80-20 rule to everything. The 80-20 rule is also known as Pareto principle. Suggests that 80% of results come from 20% of effort. Tracy encourages readers to apply this principle to everything they do and focus on the 20% of tasks that will yield most significant results. That's the main reason why you need to define your goals. Break them down into tasks and work on one goal task every day. When you don't, you spend all of your time on 80% of tasks like small, low-value tasks that fail to get you closer to meeting your goals. A big part of working on 20% of tasks is prioritizing. Your master list of tasks will ever changing. So take time to prioritize to ensure you know which tasks will provide the most value. Chapter 4. Consider the consequences. In this chapter, Tracy encourages readers to consider the consequences of not acting on important tasks. He suggests that by doing this, readers can motivate themselves to take action and prioritize their tasks accordingly. It's easy to think you need to complete everything on your to-do list, but the reality is that something don't need to be done. Other things are better delegated to others. If you question the consequences of doing or not doing a to-do list before starting it, it only makes it easier to find your frogs, but it also makes it easier to find time-wasting tasks that are better deleted from your list or delegated to someone else. Chapter 5. Practice creative procrastination. Everyone procrastinates. Tracy writes, the difference between high performers and low performers is largely determined by what they procrastinate on. Tracy suggests that not all procrastination is bad. He encourages readers to procrastinate on low-value tasks and focus instead on high-value tasks that will have the biggest impact. Chapter 6. Use the ABCDE method continually. The ABCDE method involves categorizing tasks into 5 levels of priority. A tasks are things you must do. They are your frogs. If you have more than one must-do task, you must prioritize further by adding A1, A2, A3, etc. B tasks are things you should do. Replying to emails or attending meetings are often should do tasks. People may be upset if you don't, but these activities aren't necessarily getting you closer to your goals. So they are a lower priority than A tasks. C tasks are nice to do. You probably want to do them, but there are no consequences if you don't. D tasks are things you should delegate to someone else, so you have more time for your A tasks. E tasks are things you should eliminate. You don't need or want to do them, and there is no value in delegating them to someone else. Tracy says you should evaluate your task list using this method frequently. As time passes, priorities often change, and you want to make sure that your prioritization reflects those changes. Chapter 7. Focus on key result areas. Work is one of the hardest places to focus on your frogs because there are a million ways to get pulled into other activities. There are emails, instant messages to answer, meetings to attend, side projects to pick up, and if you work in an office, plenty of in-person distractions. Tracy suggests identifying the key result areas for each role and focusing on tasks that will have the most significant impact in those areas. He encourages readers to take ownership of their roles and responsibilities and constantly look for ways to improve. Chapter 8. Apply the law of 3. Tracy says that best way to achieve work-life balance is to work the whole time you are at work. Every minute you spend at work on productivity-killing activities like chatting with co-workers about your favorite TV shows or scrolling through social media negatively impacts your time away from work, either because you have to work overtime or because you are stressing over unfinished tasks. The law of 3 suggests that there are usually 3 tasks that contribute the most to achieving a particular goal. Tracy encourages readers to identify these 3 tasks and focus on completing them first. Chapter 9. Prepare thoroughly before you begin. Tracy recommends preparing thoroughly before starting a task. He suggests gathering all the necessary information and resources and planning out the steps required to complete the task successfully. Part of preparing for your work in advance is planning your frog for the next day at the end of previous work day. But another part is making sure you have all the things you need to do your work and a comfortable workspace to do it in. Science has shown that productivity and ergonomics are directly connected. So make sure your workspace is set up for optimal productivity. Noise can also impact your productivity. So while it's good to occasionally change where you work, it's also good to try to find a quiet space where you can stay focused. Chapter 10. Take it one oil barrel at a time. Tracy suggests breaking down larger tasks into smaller, more manageable chunks. He encourages readers to focus on completing one small step at a time and celebrate each success along the way. Multitasking makes it more likely that you will struggle to complete your key tasks, but perhaps more importantly, it's also bad for your mental health. Practicing mindfulness is another way to stay focused and fully immerse yourself in the task you are working on. Thanks for watching. You will see remaining 11 chapters in the next video. Please stay tuned. In this week's book recommendation, I would recommend Chetan Bhagat's 3 Mistakes of My Life. This book turned into a movie called Kai Poche, a super hit film starring late Sushant Singh Rajput in the lead role. In essence, the story is all about friendship, love, disaster, human hatred. I would suggest read this book before watching the movie if you have not watched it. So that's it. See you in my next video. Bye.